Hello, everyone. The
What's
clock
up?
beat me, and I wasn't able to hit the button for the opening, so we're just gonna go into it. I'm gonna play our Batman '66 opening,
Yeah, that's a good one.
but it's all right. Well, we can always play that later.
Uh,
So as you can probably see from the behind us, today is Batman Day, and we're gonna party like it's 1999, like Prince did.
Did we do that last week?
he partied. He partied.
We did.
The Bad Dance.
No.
We did party like it was 1999 last week as well. But you know what? The 90s were a simpler time. So
Yes, they were. Yes, they
Oh
were.
my gosh! Yeah, I think about the line in the Matrix where they talk about the '90s being like the peak moment of history, and it's like now that you look back at the 2020s, it's like or the 2000s. Yeah, it probably was the best time.
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. I think that's from a book.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat. Oh yeah, I got Mortal Kombat 1. Figuring out how to stream it from my PlayStation, which seems to be pretty easy. So
Have you guys seen the whole thing with Mortal Kombat? How they're going to do a new skin for Johnny Cage, but it's going to be Van Damme?
yeah,
For Bloodsport.
it's great.
Oh
I mean, it makes perfect sense, kind of going around back to it, right? Like, Mortal Kombat was supposed to be a Universal Soldier fighting game, which is a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like finally he made it into the game somehow, and it sounds like him. I don't know that I haven't seen any footage of him. Like, we saw some Megan Fox voice footage, but
Wait,
yeah, Megan Fox is voicing Nitara.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not to mention being in Expendables 4.
Yeah, I need Kyle to watch more of the videos on the channels because I've made videos for all those things.
I watched your unboxing, and that shit looks awesome. Like you got the big Mortal Kombat.
Just
statue.
keep them playing in the background, Kyle.
I don't have time. It's like I can't keep videos playing in the background when I'm teaching. I'm usually at school majority of the day, and I can't.
That's
you should have a class on our podcast.
That'll go over well. Well, I mean, I'd like to.
What do you teach exactly? Let me see. Let's
video. I know, but I can't have it in the background. I'm trying to have them watch other stuff, and they're editing and they're shooting. If they're not shooting footage, then I'm going to get in trouble.
It's a perfect opportunity for you to show them how not to edit video.
I don't watch my other friend. I try to keep up, but I don't get to watch my other friends' video channels too. So it's not like I'm leaving us out on purpose.
Okay. All right.
I'm going through them right now because I've been behind, but I did send you a message on one of them.
I'm gonna find that class and then go to like one of the classes and just sit in the back and then airdrop the link to the channel to everyone. At least everyone with an iPhone.
Good luck having an Android.
I'm gonna hack the monitor or whatever. I don't know. It may still be a projector. Who knows? They don't put a lot of money into education apparently. So, see, worst editor. Look, I'm not very good at it. I just want to get the videos out. So
yeah.
There's if I could afford to pay an editor, we would, because then that way I don't have to do it.
Hey, if we could afford to pay someone, I'd be happy.
It's true. Oh, they still use chalkboard. Yeah, for sure. Kyle spends 30 minutes drawing out his lesson plan before.
It's iMac to big screen TV.
Yeah. So, Austin, I said if I could afford someone, I would.
Yeah.
I can't afford it. That's the problem.
Hey, if you pitch into our Patreon, we might be able to get there.
I think I saw Austin on the list, but we did have a free trial thing, so maybe he was just taking advantage of the 7 days. So, if you're watching, we do have a Patreon where you get videos in advance, you get exclusive stuff, all for $1 Ben comic. But I think I set up the feature where you could do like a 7-day trial. So, check it out. All right. So as you can see, Josh isn't here. He had more important things to do.
Being a dad.
Being a dad or whatever.
Taking care of his child.
Since when is that more important than Batman Day? Come
being
on,
supportive.
Josh. Jeez, making sure your child grows up well adjusted in this terrible world. What's wrong with you, Josh? Priorities. Jeez. But yeah, we're gonna be talking about Batman Day, Batman stuff. Really, just Batman stuff. That's kind of what's on the list. Just Batman stuff.
We're gonna go in every arena of Batman.
We'll do that a little bit later. First of all, we want to talk about what we've been reading, watching, all that stuff in our previously into next issue segment. So Clay, why don't you kick us off? You got a bunch of stuff.
Okay. I've been going through the Shudder documentaries, and I gotta say, one of my favorite music documentaries is This Is Gwar. It's not just on Shudder, it's on other platforms, but it is a great documentary going through the entire history of the band Gwar, how they kind of got super popular through things like MTV and Beavis and Butthead, Jerry Springer, but are really true musicians at heart, just playing heavy metal stuff. Then they also had a documentary called The Phenomenon of Found Footage. I know a lot of people aren't fans of that particular genre, but I love documentaries that go into like the beginning and who did the first one and what are the best versions of this genre.
Can I throw in there? I'm a big fan of the Paranormal Activity series of movies.
Yeah.
And if for anybody watching for October, I'm just gonna be making videos about all 7 movies. I think there's 7 total.
Is there 7? Damn, I've seen like the first 4.
There's this 8 movie collection, but one of them is a documentary on the making of the first one, I think, which is really interesting because it started out as like this little indie project, and it just kind of blew up at the right, like that franchise really came out at the right place at the right time. So that was really cool. Like it was also peak like me being interested in that kind of stuff. So like it all really aligned. So it'll be interesting to go back and rewatch all of them.
I gotta say the first one was one of those great movie experiences because my stepson Spencer had gone to see it, and he said people were like walking out at certain times, like as the movie got scarier. So when I went, I was kind of observing the crowd too, because this grandmother had brought her grandchildren in to watch Paranormal Activity, but they made it like halfway through before they left.
I don't remember. Maybe, I mean, Austin and I might have gone. He said he couldn't sleep. I think we went to one of them. I think it was at North Park. And then I had to drive to UTD to drop some people off, I think. And then on my drive home, I was by myself on 635, and just like the very dark, like I kept looking in my rear view. We went to the first one at North Park. It was, man, the theater was crowded. I remember some of us had to sit like all scattered because we couldn't find seats together. So yeah, it'll be fun to revisit them. The reason they came, Austin's wife, or now wife, had to drop him off and drive home alone. The reason I brought that up is because my friends over at They Made Another One, they just revisited the third one, and I was like, oh, I don't want to start there, even though that's a prequel. Like you could chronologically start there. So yeah, for October, stay tuned. We'll be going over. I figured that was a nice franchise to revisit that overall wasn't too many. So and sorry, Austin also mentioned Cloverfield. I remember going to see Cloverfield, and it was kind of a mind fuck, but I think it's really well done. It takes advantage of found footage.
For me, it's the shaky cam makes me kind of nauseous, and that's the only reason I'm kind of down on that film, because it's real tough to kind of follow as everything's going on.
And I think, if I remember correctly, the reason we were hyped about going to see Cloverfield is because we could also watch the first trailer for the Transformers movie, the Michael Bay one.
Oh wow, it was released for that.
I believe that's the case. I might have it. I don't think I have it backwards, because we went to Cloverfield to see the Transformers trailer. Sometimes I get it backwards, and I think we went to Transformers to watch Cloverfield, but that wouldn't make sense. I don't think.
Another documentary that's on Netflix that I am a huge fan of is called Unknown Cosmic Time Machine, and it's about the James Webb telescope launch, and it is so inspiring because it's all about space and the engineers that did all the work on this, and all the kind of, they have like a fail stops where if one thing fails, like the whole mission kind of fails. So they have this calculation of numbers at the beginning that as after the launch, that number just goes down. And they just do it really well. It makes you excited about space exploration again. I just can't recommend that enough.
Cool.
Shelby found a movie called Clay from BBC in 2008 that she just brought home on a whim, and it's pretty great. It's about kids in the 60s in England, and this new kid comes to town who can bring clay statues to life. And it gets kind of dark about the choices that these kids make. So it's
like they're just making big wieners on all the statues.
No, they create a monster and bring it to life. And but the probably the big selling point for me is Imelda Staunton's in it, and she was from Harry Potter. She played Dolores Umbridge. So if people just know her as that mean teacher, she plays complete opposite of that character, and it's great to see how she does it. She's so good. I just really recommend this movie just to watch her performance because it's fantastic.
Gotcha.
And then one, I will try to take your advice, Daniel, and do a movie just for the Patreon about. Free on YouTube is a 70s exploitation movie called Mr. No Legs. And it focuses on a hitman who has no legs and is in a wheelchair, but he has double barrel shotguns loaded on the side of his wheelchair as he enforces the mob's law out on the street. He even has a kung fu scene. That's all I'm going to say about it and sell it, because I actually, it was a blast, and it is weird as hell. And do you guys want to talk Ahsoka at all?
I think we should wait till it's done completely. I don't want to spoil. I know.
But after the past week's episode was like, holy shit.
I will say this week's episode is probably the best one. You've probably seen the edits out there. Like, I mean, we put some out. They did really well on YouTube.
I don't know how to put this, but my favorite one is how they're calling Ahsoka Gandalf.
I was going to say it's Ahsoka the White.
Yeah. Oh my
God. We'll definitely get into it once it's completely done. I want Josh to watch it. Hopefully he get. It's not very long. Like the episodes are very short.
No,
I mean, compared to other Star Wars Disney Plus shows, like the episodes are relatively short. I think this one,
but they're enjoyable. Even if they're a little bit long, I have no problem watching the whole thing. It's like we're getting. It's the best way to put it. It's Rebel season 5.
And or Clone Wars season 8, kind of like, or both.
Yeah.
I was never the biggest Clone Wars fan.
Yeah, see, I've never finished the cartoons because I couldn't get past the first season of Rebels, and I'm like somewhere in like season 3 of the Clone Wars.
I'll say this much:
Rebels.
You should at least watch the last 4 episodes of season 7 of Clone Wars. To me, that feels like a standalone. Like it's almost Star Wars episode 3.5. Because it's happening, part of it happens concurrently with Revenge of the Sith. Like it's just like what are other people doing while that's going, like while all this stuff's happening. And they even have some scenes where they kind of cross over, so you see them animated, and obviously we didn't see them live act. Well, we saw them live action from one point of view, but then you get to see them from a different point of view animated. So I would say, if anything, watch that. Like I would add it to a Star Wars movie rewatch. I would add those 4 episodes because they really are.
Oh wow,
they really are a movie on its own. I think that's how Filoni planned it. I'm pretty sure, because it's all called like the same thing. It's like part 1, 2, and 3, and 4. It's just so. And then for Rebels, season 1 was very kid geared, which I understand. It was a Disney Disney Channel show.
But it got
But once you get past, I just skipped season 1. I watched the recap and I just skipped season 1.
I rewatched all of it recently, and wanting me to go it's the first season, I still had fun watching it.
I might have fun rewatching it now that I like the characters more and like I'm connected to them. So, but yeah, see episode 5 of Ahsoka. I mean, written and directed by Dave Filoni. He was just, and I think in my review I said there's not a lot of story moving forward, but like this is just Filoni playing like with all the stuff that he wants to do.
Yeah, he's playing in the toy box.
Yeah,
I did. There was one interesting thing. They have one scene there where you see a younger Ahsoka.
Yeah,
Come to find out, it's the actress who played young
Gamora.
Gamora in the Avengers. Yeah, I was like, oh, that's interesting. Okay,
It's great. Yeah, she looked fantastic. So
the last thing I watched was The Last Drive-In on Shudder last night. That was a Joe Bob special featuring the Daryl Dixon spinoff. It was just done so poorly, and I'm not talking about the Daryl Dixon show. The Last Drive-In, obviously, you know, AMC owns Shudder. They're trying to crowbar in the Walking Dead universe into Joe Bob's stuff, and it was just done poorly. Like usually Joe Bob like intros, does interviews during the show, and then comes back, closes out the show. As soon as the Daryl Dixon show ends, Shudder just rolls into another movie. Like they don't even let him finish, and it was just such a shit grab for an audience. I was really pissed off because the Daryl Dixon show is not good. It is The Last of Us or The Mandalorian did it better. Like it's basically like Daryl Dixon. I see. Let me finish. Let me finish. It is The Last of Us and The Mandalorian in a zombie universe that only has like a zombie show up like more than halfway through the series or through this premiere episode. It's subtitled. 90% of the movie is in French, or the show is in French, so you got subtitles. And then you have it just pisses me off because then it ties in this religion idea, like that this kid is like connected to he's going to be the next Christ. It's like the second coming, and it's like I didn't like any of it. It was terrible. I will not watch this show, and it made me even more pissed off that they crowbarred in Joe Bob to have to present all this shit. And from what I heard, Shelby had read an article saying that Norman Reedus said he would do this series only if they would do it in France because he wanted a vacation. And and so they're doing it in France. And this is the last thing the Walking Dead universe needs is the French subtitles and religion.
He already has a show where he drives around in his motorcycle. How many vacations does this man need?
If you're going to keep doing the Walking Dead universe, you might get
so,
paid in vacations.
Let me ask you a question. If you can actually work jobs that actually get you that many vacations, would you not take it yourself?
I guess so.
Yeah, I guess so. You know,
you get to travel around the fucking world. How often do you get that much?
Hell, I'd be happy to get out of the house.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and then I think in his show he gets to hang out with like a bunch of other celebrities too. Like they're just hanging out and meeting up. Yeah. So like, yeah, I do that.
Oh, what was it? I was recently listening to one of the most recent episodes of Inside You with Michael Rosenbaum, and apparently he's got a reality show he's coming out with John Heder, Napoleon Dynamite. Apparently they're really good friends, and it's going to be a reality show. Basically, it's called Horror or Spooked or something. Where basically they go around traveling to different haunted and spooky areas around the nation.
God, there are like a billion shows like that.
I know, but he's
but this one has Rosenbaum and John Heder.
Lex Luthor and Napoleon Dynamite.
I'll give it a shot. Now, I mean, I wanted to check it out just to see how. Just the combination of those two together might be where it's kind of the watch. So
yeah, it's just that I see a lot of those series on the Discovery Plus that are all like Jack Osborne. It's weird because it's like Jack Osborne and Jason Mewes go to haunted houses.
Jason Mewes? I'll take it. I'll take a watch on it.
See, I don't like those travel shows as much either, but Adam Pally and John Gravis, who are comedians that I really enjoy, I find them really funny. They have one called 101 Places to Party Before You Die. So like it was on True TV. So like, yeah, I'll watch that because I like Adam Pally. I think John Gravis, they're both really funny.
Yeah.
So To backtrack real quick, because Austin, you should watch The Walking Dead. Daryl Dixon. I liked it because of all the things Clay mentioned. I like that it's in France because we've never seen any other part of the world. Like, I don't mind the subtitles. I mean, I watch stuff with subtitles all the time. I watch anime with subtitles all the time.
Yeah.
That doesn't bother me. I like Norman Reedus is probably Daryl's one of my favorite characters in The Walking Dead, anyways.
Yeah.
I
Well,
like
it's interesting too because he kind of has that She-Hulk syndrome where like when they did the Hulk original TV show, they were going to do a female Hulk in there. So
Yeah.
Stan Lee went and created the comic book version before they did it on TV. And then the TV ended up canceling it. Daryl Dixon is a pure creation from the TV series.
Yep.
So I don't even know if the original comic book team gets any kind of credits for the spinoff, or if it's all AMC.
No, they do. It says based on the work of Robert Kirkman, Charlie Adlard, and I forget the name of
Tony Allard. Tony Moore.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's still. I mean, it's all still based on The Walking Dead. But the other thing I like, so they introduced like a new kind of zombie threat. Like there's something different. Like when it's slight spoilers. When some type of zombie touches you, they burn you. And I want to know what the fuck what's that all about? Like that's even more of a bigger threat, right? Because before you just have to worry about not getting scratched or bitten or whatever, but now they also burn you. Like, what's that all about? Is that only a thing that happened in France? I mean, so there's really fun stuff there. And I do like the religious crazy aspect of this because it's like, yeah, there would be a group of people that would, especially nuns at a convent, where they would be like, yeah, oh, yeah, I'll sorry for the slight spoilers. But yeah, I like that idea of like exploring this world. So, but that's all we'll say about Daryl Dixon. I like it. I have a full review on the channel. So, come back, Austin. Sorry about that. So you can watch the episode on YouTube, or you
yeah,
can
it's free on YouTube. I put a link in the show notes.
Or you can only watch the version with Joe Bob on YouTube.
No, it's just the episode. It's not
cool.
The Last
Okay.
Drive-In.
Yeah, because I have AMC Plus for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, I think this is the end of
that.
Shudder. I think this year might be the end of Shudder because they're just not curating their stuff very well, and it's obviously going to be rolled into AMC Plus.
Yeah, and AMC Plus, if you want to watch some of that stuff, for some reason it's on HBO Max for like 2 months, like the Interview with a Vampire and some other stuff like Killing Eve, like a bunch of those things are on Max for some reason. I don't know.
Because they have to start cross-pollinating and selling some of their content to other streaming services to make profit.
If that's the case, then I could just pick, like I would pick something like keep Max, and then just wait till some of the other stuff cycles around through it, you know. So
yeah,
cool. All right, let's stop there. Is that all that's all the non-comic stuff, right, Claire?
Right.
All right, well let's stop there. Kyle, why don't you go next? Because you got a few things that I want to talk about as well. Although when you get into, I haven't finished Zdarsky's Daredevil, so if there's spoilers for that,
it's good.
In your discussion, let's not talk about it yet. I will finish though.
So basically, I read Hulk Volume number 4.
I want to know about this one.
Yeah, so
I didn't pick it up.
This is the Swamp Thing issue, right? Or Man Thing issue. Sorry.
All right, go. Wrong company.
No, what? They're almost the same thing.
They're not the same thing. One knows how to talk.
They're both based off the Heap. So that was the OG one.
So it's basically Banner traveling with that young girl, if you guys remember reading the issue, and basically, and she's playing all tough and everything. So they go into this.
Like The Last of Us, huh?
Huh?
Maybe it's a very common trope.
Yeah. But basically, they go to this small
common.
town where people are coming back from the dead and taking the loved ones or people that were sort of connected to them. And so basically, and eventually, they're talking this, and Banner and the girl are talking in some restaurant, like sort of McDonald's. He gets her some food, has it delivered to her, and it finds out the guy's, this guy ordered food and then walked out. So she goes running after him. And so he goes looking and trying to find out what's going on, and basically ends up running into Man-Thing, where Man-Thing basically picks him up and starts burning him and basically engulfs him in his body. And you find out later that basically the Hulk just emerges from the whole Man-Thing's body, and you realize he's in the Nexus. So that way Ted could actually talk to him, but he can't talk to him in the actual form of Man-Thing. And he's trying to tell him basically there is a new this mystical creature that I think this is from previous issues that's been attacking the girl and him as the Hulk is now the town, and he needs his help to basically take that down. That's where it kind of just leaves on a cliffhanger.
Okay. Here's a quick idea, and I don't think this is where the story's going to go, but what if, in order to fight all these monsters, the Hulk has to wear Man-Thing like an armor to use his burning thing and
They
the
sort of did
strength
that
of the
with
Hulk?
Blade. They sort of did it with Blade already in the Avengers.
Well,
because Blade actually had a small component of
oh,
Man
that's
Thing.
right. That's right. He did have that. That's right. The little Man Thing, whatever they're
Yeah.
called. Yeah, but this is now in the Hulk, so now you get the strength, and the Hulk keeps getting stronger because he's also being burnt, like while he's wearing Man Thing, so he's getting angrier. Oh, great! Marvel, call us.
I would read that book.
Yeah.
Next is Star Trek. This is a book I've been reading. Con and On #3. So this is from Ahoy Comics. It's basically about it's almost like an anthology story, but basically about different groups of people who go to San Diego Comic-Con, even though it's not, and it's set in different ages. So it's set in, like, I think the late 90s, then mid-aughts. Now, like, I think they're in I can't remember if it was the 80s or early 90s. Then he goes for another decade, and it starts off with this one girl and friend who are trying to get in the industry. Then you go to like certain creators who don't want to, who are there trying to deal, and it also deals with the time age of how the con wasn't as big and as massive as it was, and as the decades go, you realize how corporate it starts to get. And like the last issue, the one girl who's trying to get in the industry who's been doing web comics and indie stuff. She's promised to join one of the big companies, but it was only because I'll give you all the time and all this stuff, but you got to do some stuff for me. And the guy's meaning, like, you got to be my little pet, doing like for sexual favors. She's like, fuck this. And then you have like another actor who's been like this actor in all these B films, and he wears a mask to walk around so people don't like discover him. And you realize by like the third issue, like he's kind of fizzled out, and the movies he's doing are like B films that nobody's watching anymore. And then you had like another one where I think like some British art comic creators would come in and would go to this one bar because they didn't want to go to the main bar where all the fans are going to be. They wanted to be by themselves and enjoy a drink and talk to their friends. But you realize at the bar they go to, the woman who owned the bar hates comic goers, but she realizes I don't want to fucking deal with this shit, but I also need to make money. So it's like all these different stories. It's kind of interesting just to see a take on it. And not something I'd probably pick up, but I'm going to own. But it's still kind of fun just to see where they're going with it. Ahoy Comics, apparently it's a small company that's been around for a little bit.
Yeah.
They got their big seller is like Second Coming, the Mark Russell book.
Oh, that's okay. That's it. Okay.
Where Jesus and a Superman.
You mean the one that was supposed to be done by Vertigo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They really messed up. DC really messed up letting that go because there are so many spin-offs off of that.
Well, not even that. Do we need to talk about what just went into open domain recently?
Yeah, we could build the Bill Willingham thing
with Fables now in open domain. Just like
I will say before we get into all that, like this is not to support DC or anything, but I also hear that this person is not the coolest dude. So like,
I read that.
Like, well, he's kind of very right leaning. That's the I haven't heard anything improper or anything. So
okay, not supporting DC, not supporting him. I will say this: if you haven't read it, Fables, I thought was a pretty damn good book.
This is what we announced our Fables comic.
Yeah. But that's the thing is, like, he used public domain characters. Yeah. So really all he's saying is you can use the universe I've created. I will put all the Fables out in the public domain to be used.
The main character is like a new character, right? The whatever.
The wolf.
His name, he has an extra, I forget his name, Jack something maybe, or
well, there's Jack of Fables. There's also the big bad wolf character who's like a private detective in the Fables world.
Yeah, because he even got a video game, and like the wolf,
the Telltale game. Yeah,
the wolf is pretty famous. So
if you want to make a Telltale game, if you want to make a Fables video game, you could do that with it being in the public domain. But DC might go after you.
I'm gonna make a clone of the Flappy Bird game, but just use Fables characters and just combine those two things and make a lot of money.
Well, I mean, technically, all you got to do is change the name, and that's what Cartoon Network did with Power Dexter's. they had the Justice League Avengers mix, and I think their version of the Hulk was just called the Bulk.
Yeah.
So it's like change the name a little bit. You can go ahead.
Oh,
and
the
do
little
it.
purple dude, right?
Yeah. So
Pick a color that the Hulk hasn't been, and change the name. I don't think there's a purple.
no, he's probably been lime green already. Never mind.
He's been gray. He's been red. He's been green. All shades of green.
With A-Bomb's been blue, so we've had blue as a Hulk. I mean,
yeah, he's been a demon. He's been a fixer at the casinos.
Jesus.
I was gonna say, if you don't put him in a gangster suit, what kind of suit would you put the Hulk in?
I already said a Man-Thing suit. So
the Man-Thing suit.
I'll say this much: one of my favorite stories is it was a short in one of the Marvel Comics Presents. It was Hulk versus Hulk Hogan. I kid you not. Anyway,
what if the Hulk wears a Man-Thing, but it's a bikini Man-Thing?
Whoa.
Mankini.
I knew it was gonna go there.
like the Borat outfit.
Yes.
Man-Thing.
It's just one big strap.
So my next book is a manga that I happened to find after a story yesterday on CBR. The Red Ranger becomes an adventurer in another world. This is a manga they've been publishing. Okay, my friends. It's been published in Japan. And now a company over here has been releasing on one of the websites, I think, called Manga Go. It's on the app. You can also get it. And they have it on the site for the first 3 chapters for free. And apparently they're doing an anime based on it. The story was based on how come tokusatsu and anime haven't really merged all that much. And so the premise is he's a Red Ranger from this Sentai team, who they're fighting. It's like the final battle with the big baddie, but he somehow in the battle, he gets sent through a warp and gets taken away and ends up in a magical world. So it's based on the anime kind of theme where somebody gets into a magical world and he's got to find his way back. So the next premise goes to this magical girl. Yeah, there we go. Goes and basically she's like a witch and she's trying to form a party to go find this magical mana, because mana is like the power of magic there. And he shows up, and apparently he does all the typical, every time he goes Zenu Ranger form, and after he transforms, big explosions happen behind him, and then he just pans back to the girl going, what the hell is happening? How is he doing all these powers? There's no magic coming off of him. And eventually they get it to where basically he's able to bring all the 5 Zords and form their Megazord, but he realizes the thing's only at only partial power because he only has 2 people in the Megazord, and she's still wondering what the hell is going on here. So it's like this.
I see now why this is popular.
Oh God! Well, not even just because. Yeah. But I'm tempted. I want to read this more. I love tokusatsu, and I want to see where this kind of goes. So,
and this Manga Up website seems legit. Like, it doesn't seem, because the one thing about looking for manga on the internet is that the first 3 hits are gonna be like pirate sites.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially when it's not like a mainstream thing.
Yeah, this one actually has an iPhone app, so it's like you can actually get it. I don't know if it's a full subscription or what, but I'm gonna keep reading this one to see where it goes.
It has like Square Enix and stuff. Like, it looks legit to me. Like, that's why I did choose to show it. But yeah, it's like the 5th result in my list. It's not at the top.
Yeah, I had to dig for it. Then next I read was Avengers. Oh no, here we go. Avengers Inc. #1. This one I dug. Like, this one I may have to collect. This one I'm really dealing. So it deals with Whirlwind. He's in prison. I guess maybe the Raft, and he gets shot in the head. And so basically, Luke Cage, still being mayor, brings in the Wasp to kind of investigate, because that was I guess technically the Whirlwind. It was her arch nemesis, was her Lex Luthor and something. And so she goes in, and come to find out that basically not only her but Anaconda from the Serpent Society, Griffin, Ice Master, and one of the person was shot and killed, and they all come back to life. But this time, when Whirlwind comes back to life, he's not the normal character anymore. He's going by the name Victor Shade. And so that you realize now that and so the Wasp goes, okay, after he helps her stop the other guys who come back to life, Luke Cage hires her, and they bring him out on probationary status to work as Avengers Inc. They're going to be Avengers as a way to stop murders from happening, but basically no costumes. So it's all going to be kind of like private eye kind of stuff. But she even goes, why didn't you bring in the Thunderbolts? He goes, no, the Thunderbolts are basically meant to handle the big stuff. I need somebody who can do the smaller stuff quietly. And the art just looks fucking phenomenal. It's almost kind of, they don't do it black and white, but it's a very low tone color.
Yeah, very monotone.
Yeah.
I pitched this as like, I think Al Ewing wanted to do, the Avengers TV show from the UK.
Yeah.
he wanted to do that, but in like with actual Avengers.
in Marvel.
This one I may have to pick up. It's just oh my god.
Yeah, looks very cool. Very
Wow.
cool.
Oh,
Those are great covers.
No, here we go. It's spoilers. I'm gonna give it away. So at the very last page, you see that there's somebody in Ant-Man costume, and it's Grady. You know, the third Ant-Man, the bad guy.
Yeah,
And
the bad
he's
one.
dealing with the doc. And he goes, and you hear this. I didn't want to bring Janet into this, but apparently there's something we can do. And you turn around and he goes, "Sorry, who's Janet again?" He goes, "Oh yeah, the Wasp." And and then the guy turns around and goes, "Oh, you don't forget, stop calling me doctor. It's Dr. Hank Pym to you." And you realize that it's an older age Dr. Pym with gray beard and everything in the old original Ant-Man costume.
I think it's the Hank Pym from the Ant-Man series that Al Ewing just did.
Maybe.
Because he did an Ant-Man thing. He did a Wasp thing.
Yeah.
Where there's 60 like minis, but those were like
Yeah.
kind of time travel-y shenanigans. So I think he's finally bringing some of that into like the main continuity. I wasn't sure until you just kind of mentioned like, oh yeah, Luke Cage is the major. This should be the main continuity. I wasn't sure if this was set up in a different world or not, but it looks like it's all that. So yeah, if Al Ewing wants to bring some of that flavor that he did into this stuff, I'm all for it.
But double thumbs up on this one.
Yeah.
Avengers Inc. And then Werewolf by Night #1, which I quite didn't show this one. I was going to be disappointed. This one was interesting because it's what's his name? The human name again?
Jack Russell.
Jack.
Yeah, Jack. But apparently now he can actually talk in werewolf form. And it's also and Bloodstone, and they come there fighting this mystic demon kind of stuff, and they see each other. So it's a fun read. It's not as cool as the special was on Disney Plus, but I guess
Yeah, but it's very stylized in that
Yeah.
in the sense that they use the black and white and the color.
Yeah,
world
you're
of
right. Yeah,
Elsa
she's in color.
Bloodstone coming
He's in black and
together
white,
in the
yeah.
book. Yeah,
that was nice.
I really like that touch. So Clay and I
Right.
both picked up the same cover because
I may have to get this one too, just because it was a fun read.
I like the look of Werewolf by Night in this.
Oh
book.
god, yeah.
It's so cool looking.
Can you zoom
Why
on
is
that
it
one?
tiny? It's weird.
Oh, you can't zoom it. Damn it! I want to see that cover.
And I love the Elsa Bloodstone. Like they kind of do like last week I talked about her showing up in Next Wave, Agents of Hate. That her style and everything, there's like a nod to it because every time she curses, they use the skull and crossbones for the dialogue.
Yeah, it's really fun. This is a one shot though, so just hopefully we get to see more of these guys in the future.
Yes.
Sorry, I missed one. Star Trek: The Motion Picture Echo #5. So I've been reading this one. So this one takes place right after the start of the motion picture, after Kirk takes over the Enterprise again, and they come in and talk, I don't know if I ever talked about issue 1, but they come in tangent with this ship, and you come to find out that the pilot of the ship is Uhura from another universe, and she's tracking this this convict who's basically known for like a cold-blooded killer who's nuked other planets, and you come to find out that's another version of Chekhov. And yeah, and so this is the final issue, but basically it's Kirk and his crew with their Uhura working with the other Uhura trying to get their Chekhov. They stop the evil Chekhov, but they're also having to realize that the evil Chekhov has been captured by the Romulans, and the Romulans have some doomsday device, and so it's basically and then the Enterprise has to take on, and then it's badass because then you have Spock taking over command of the Enterprise, while Kirk and Uhura are dressed as Romulans on the Romulan ship.
I am very confused.
Yeah, see right there.
So is it the mirror version of Chekhov or just another?
No, it's another universe.
Okay, another universe.
But what's
where
funny?
he's evil.
Yeah, but it's funny. It's like Uhura comes down and it eventually ends up killing the evil Chekhov and snaps his neck. Even though Kirk says don't do it, and Uhura, the good Uhura, tells you it'll change you. And they have her in prison after that. And she goes, you live in a nice little dream world, Captain, but someday it's going to happen that when you give somebody the benefit of the doubt, if you don't take them out, they're going to kill somebody you care deeply about. And so at the end of it, Uhura lets the evil Uhura go and says, you may not be able to find a way back home, but at least you can find some place to go. And Kirk is basically, and Spock's like, there's something wrong, Captain. What's going on? He says, something she said. In fact, if I don't deal with something more seriously, I might lose somebody I care about. And then boom, next page has a scene of Kirk looking through the glass with Spock at the end of Wrath of Khan. So it's a premonition of kind of leading into what Wrath #2 would happen. So the Star Trek stuff that IDW is doing has been pretty on par for at least my book. My tone.
Who's writing it?
Oh,
Oh,
Hold
I
on.
just had it up. But I think the cool part about what IDW is doing is that they also get like artists that really understand what it's supposed to look like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because I think if you change Star Trek too much, if you go too stylized, like maybe it doesn't work as well. Yeah, sorry, I lost the page.
I
Okay.
can find out here in a little bit. I'll come back to it. But basically, the other book I was going to, they have another one is Star Trek Picard's Academy. And this is dealing with Jean-Luc Picard with his first year into Starfleet Academy, where he's basically, you realize if people thought Picard was sort of pompous in the first season of Next Generation, you ain't seen him yet. I mean, he comes in like he's there in like they starts out with him with in history class with one of the professors talking about like one of the battles during the Romulan War, and Picard's there calling out saying you're wrong. You were more off by a ship and everything, and so he's like Mr. Know-it-all. And then and this one girl tries to come over and say, "Hey, would you like to go to this party?" And he's like, "No, I'm sorry, I got to practice." She's like, "Okay." And so he goes and he's trying to study, but he realized the party's too loud. So what does he do? He goes to Boothby, who's the groundskeeper that was in a couple of the episodes. You remember, like, and then and he says, "You're my only friend. You know, but I need someplace to study." And it's interesting to see early Picard when he still had hair and really pompous, kind of arrogant. So I'm going to give a few more issues and see how it goes. Daredevil Volume 8, number 1. All I'm going to say is it starts off, and again, we're talking about how many volume number 1, so I can think we're Batman or Spider-Man. This is Daredevil Volume number 8, number 1. But no, this one is basically all I'm going to say is Matt Murdock's a priest.
That's a picture I picked for the video. Yeah,
I'm just going to leave it at that. I want to let Daniel finish up with his RIC run, then we can talk more about it. But like right now, and this one I'm enjoying. If they're going to keep him as a priest for a while, I want to see where this goes. So
and it looks great because it's who's the artist? He's very prolific, and I forgot his name. But don't be fooled. It's Aaron Cooter and Saladin Ahmed.
Oh, I would buy that book just for his art.
Don't be fooled by the Romita cover.
No, but I'll say this: the two out of everything I read this week, the 2 books I'm probably going to want to actually start picking up are going to be the Avengers Inc. and then probably this new run of Daredevil. At least, hopefully, this one goes in a good direction. But he's even back, like at the very end, he's even back in his original red costume. You know, like for the longest time, he was wearing this sort of like this baggy pants. Now it's back to the original like Daredevil costume, like skin tight, you know, kind of thing. I'm like, okay, he's kind of going back to like, and I don't think they're not trying to go too, even though there is some mystical stuff in there, but you wonder like how this became. I don't think they're going overall mystical like the original Zdarsky run was previously. So I'm thinking if he's going back to street level kind of protecting Hell's Kitchen, I'm like, I'll give it a chance.
Nice. I do love that John Romita Jr. cover though, because
it's gorgeous.
Yeah, they did a comic box that I bought just because his art was on that.
I might have that same box somewhere.
And then my last run is Batman and Robin Volume 3, number 1. And this one, if I had to throw in like a new favorite moment for Batman, this was it, because it's Damian moving in with Batman in the gray and the brownstone, and it's them just and him being like his son now. Like you have it where basically, like you come to find out that basically Bruce wakes up and he goes, and Damian's actually cooking him breakfast, and he basically goes, and Bruce starts to make tea, and then Damian throws something out of his hand. He goes, "That's not how you make tea." And you realize Damian starts making tea from the very proper English, not like almost a Jarvis. Alfred way. And he goes, "This is how you do it." And he starts making an omelet. And then you have Bruce basically saying, I'm enrolling you in Gotham Heights. And he goes, "You told me that basically when you went to when you went to the island, you did the whole Lazarus pit and everything. You had so much fun meeting all these friends. I want you to have the childhood I was never given." Mm-hmm. And so he's basically forcing Damian to have go to high school and be a kid, to at least have a partial And then he goes, "And we're going to start training." And he goes, "Well, how about letting me drive the Batmobile?" And he goes, "That's the one thing you're not doing. You're not driving." And then Damian goes, "That's one thing you didn't realize, Dad. When I was off my own little things, I actually got my own car." So the next scene is Damian driving his Robin-mobile with Bruce going, "Oh shit," hanging on for dear life. Like
his Robin-mobile.
Yeah,
and this cover finally makes sense.
It's a Robin car. He has his own Robin car.
This cover finally makes sense too, because now we know that the White Rabbit is one of the characters that shows up at the beginning.
I like how we have a White Rabbit in both Batman and Spider-Man.
And they're both. It's kind of the same character, really.
I know it really is. Oh, and the greatest thing, some of the villains you have to take on the very last fight is, how Mr. Pig would have his villains wear masks. Well, now
Yeah.
they're not masks; they're actually animal heads.
Ooh.
So this new Batman run might be kind of cool too. I don't know.
Like literal animals, though. They're not. There's not a mask. They're
No,
not.
that's
It's not.
it. Like
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
transparent. They're physical heads at the
I
brain.
want to make sure that Chloe understands that these are people with animal heads,
Yeah.
not animal masks on their heads.
I'm in.
And Robin had
No.
the same reaction when he found that out in the
Yeah.
in the issue.
Well, Professor
So-
Pig is such a twisted character.
Oh,
I just love that character so much.
The fact we got him in Gotham, the TV show, was like we kind of
It's
like they dug
crazy.
deep for some of that shit. Oh my god.
It's crazy. Nice. Okay, cool. Let me do a little bit of my comics and then we'll get back to Clay real quick and then move on to more Batman stuff.
Yeah, we got
Which
some
a lot
other-
of my comics are Batman anyway. So
Of course.
first, speaking of comics and manga, the first volume of Batman Justice Buster came out. This is the manga DC's doing with Viz. It's pretty cool. It's a different version of Batman. He wears like a real cool mech suit, and it's just very fun. It's out of the three, this is probably my favorite because we had the one with
I
the
saw
Joker
that. I
and,
didn't
and
pick
Batman
that.
as a baby. And then there's a Superman one. So we already talked about Werewolf by Night, but I mean Adam Hughes, dude, don't miss. I picked up the foil what's it called, facsimile of Batman #1. Also, here I'll leave this one till last because I want to talk about some of that stuff today. This week finish this run of Batman Incorporated, not the one we may talk about later on, but this one's still pretty good. Ed Brisson, Ghostmaker's leading a new Batman Incorporated team because Bruce is poor and he can't afford it at the moment. Well, he's poor, but not like regular people poor.
No shit. He's still
Not like regular people.
Yeah, not like we would be poor.
Bruce Wayne isn't at the food bank.
That's right.
when you
I
can
also
still
picked
afford
up-
your gadgets, you're not poor.
Yeah. Picked up this cover of the Green Lantern #3. I like this book a lot too. I like how Jordan feels a little more grounded, both literally and figuratively. And then like we finally have Sinestro making his move, but this is the Hispanic Heritage Month cover.
I
So
like that cover.
we have Kyle. Yeah.
Of course,
Also,
is he in the book?
yeah, not in this issue. No, I hope he eventually comes in, but
Oh, no,
There
Green,
was-
I'm sorry, I read Green. I did read the Green Lantern. Yeah, it was.
yeah,
Interesting.
they do have backups of John Stewart that I think follow up in a one shot coming out the next
Yeah.
week. So I'm not reading something epic, but I picked up this cover
Huh.
because it's an homage to a Korn album that Greg
Yeah.
Capullo did the cover. So yeah, this book is pretty sad, I think, from what I hear. But this Simon Kudrowski, I think. Yeah, Simon Kudrowski is the artist, and boy, I might check it out someday. But I only picked it up for the cover. Now, what I want to talk about, my favorite stuff this week was this book called Batman: Gargoyle of Gotham. Some shops might have had it out on Tuesday. Some shops maybe it was supposed to be out today, technically, for Batman Day. This is by Rafael Grampa that did The Golden Child with Frank Miller, that little one shot from a few years ago. This is such a dark and gritty Batman book. Like, it's violent, it's gory. Like Rafael Grampa's art is pretty fucking sick. Yeah, I get a lot of vibes of like the Dark Knight. Like, it really feels like some kind of book like that. And then they also did a noir edition, which is just the black and white, which also looks pretty it's black and white except for like touches of like red splatter for the blood and stuff like that.
It's Batman, black, white, and red.
Yeah, DC knows how to sell me two of the same book.
They just put Batman on the cover.
Well, in this case, they did because they sold me three of the same book. So, and I want to touch on this real quick, but let me show you the cover real quick. This is the Frank Miller Jacques cover. They teamed up and look, this is a pretty sick cover. I know we've kind of been shitting on Frank Miller over the past few months, and I think rightly so.
Yeah, those
Uh,
covers he did have been pretty bland, but that one's
but
pretty great. But that I'm sure that's Jock carrying
well,
doing all the
that's
heavy
what I was
lifting.
thinking. But Jacques mentioned that he only did the colors. He didn't ink over Frank. So the here I want to pull it up. Let me pull it up on the
Whoa.
screen so you guys can see it. Yeah, because that's what I was thinking too. Like, like maybe he brushed over like the pencils or whatever. But no, he said he only did the colors. Like that looks pretty sick. And I don't know, maybe Frank Miller just like draws Batman really fucking good.
Yeah, I mean,
He-
I would say The Dark Knight Returns is probably the most iconic Batman cover of all time.
yeah, yeah. Because when I saw this, and you can see here the signature, like Frank Miller and Jock, like it's very cool. But yeah, and
That's
his
great.
Instagram, Jock said he only did the colors. So I would love to see the raw, the black and white version of this. Uh, so I wanted to ask, why do you what do you guys think is going on with like Frank Miller and those Marvel covers that we didn't like so much? Like, what's the difference between? Is it the characters that he has to draw? Is it the assignment? Because in those covers, there's not a lot of background either. Like, right?
They're
Is
very
it just
basic. I mean,
yeah,
they're nothing stylized. They're just his thing is just not good. Like when he draws the thing, I don't know. It's especially with no background. Like he just has it kind of coming at you, but it's like he wants to be Jack Kirby, but Kirby, but he's not. You know, I feel like his Wolverine could have been better because he's done Wolverine before. So,
mhm.
like, if you had like maybe they just said, draw Wolverine cover, and he did. So he just met the assignment and collected the paycheck.
Yeah. I think that Frank Miller has a really good eye for composition. Which I mean, if you look at some of his stuff, and I'm trying to find some other covers that he might have done, but and he worked with so many people. He's there's
I
so
mean,
many books.
like I go back to like his Ronin book is probably one of the
Mhm.
best because it really is him visually telling a story.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I never actually read that one yet.
Oh wow, that was one of DC's early
Yeah.
hits for me because it was an independent book about a Ronin being transported into the future, and it's almost like John Wick type of violence in it.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe it was just the assignment of these Marvel covers that are supposed to be super simple that maybe it just doesn't work. I don't know. Like I'm looking here, I don't know what you guys think of this one. I'm pulling up this is the Incredible Hulk. But like I don't know, like I feel like if they had asked for a cover that's more of a composition like the Batman, like maybe the Hulk punching a car or I don't know, like carrying a mountain, something like but I think they just asked them for like just do a very simple version of like or maybe they only wanted to pay him enough to like get something like that's very a lot more simple out of him, right?
I mean, you're gonna get the Frank Miller fanboys who pick it up no matter what. So you already have like a base of people who are going to get it, and people who collect variant covers. So it's just, are you going to be able to pull in other people by this cover? I don't know.
Maybe. I may yeah, probably. Oh, he did RoboCop. Cool.
He wrote RoboCop. You know that he wrote the sequels to RoboCop, and that was when he just broke off all ties with Hollywood because he hated how the films turned out.
Oh
So
yeah.
like he left, he was done. But then
Damn.
they brought him back with Sin City, and then he got cocky and made The Spirit.
Oof. You either die a hero or live long live long enough to be the villain, huh? Oh, I'm not showing the right fucking screen. Anyways, whatever. Yeah.
But I mean, he's done one of the most iconic covers. I mean, the Dark Knight Returns Lightning cover is top 10 comic book cover of all time.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's so like all the homages to it, like it's probably one of the ones I see the most homage, which is pretty cool.
I'd
So,
say Days of Future Past, I see a lot of homages.
oh yeah, yeah. I guess the Spider-Man Spawn, and the Spider-Man Todd McFarlane.
Todd McFarlane one, yeah, that
Yeah.
one's done a lot. Yeah.
So I don't know, but yeah, I just wanted to say I think Frank Miller, given enough time, resources, or even just passion about the job, he'll kill it. Like, especially when he's got, like I said, I think when he teams up with Klaus is so talented that, like, yeah, we're gonna fucking kill it. So don't be mean to Frank Miller, even though he's a grouchy old man.
One way to explain it.
The last thing I wanted to touch on is, have you guys read Minor Threats?
Yes.
The Patton Oswalt, Jason Blum, Dark Horse comic book. Okay.
It is so good.
I didn't read that. I read a couple of that, but I haven't finished it. But they had a spinoff called The Alternates.
Huh.
That's in the same world of Minor Threats from Dark Horse. Patton Oswalt, Jordan Blum, and Tim Seeley. And I was like, oh, Tim Seeley? I'm in.
I love him.
Yeah, me too. So this is really fun. It's about like a few superheroes, or a few people with powers that have a support group, because when they come back, they just came back from like this alternate dimension where they were trapped in for years, and they change, their powers change, their lives change, and now they have to come back to the real world. But yeah, there's some really fun stuff here. This is a Martin Simmons variant. This is another one of the heroes. I think each character gets a cover, maybe not. This is a more spicy cover. But yeah, there's somebody called Tripper. Oh no, Crab Louie. His name is Crab Louie. He's just a giant crab. So it's fun. If you like Minor Threats, I think you'll enjoy this. There is a little bit more of like dealing with trauma on this one. I don't know how much of that was in Minor Threats.
Minor Threats was essentially his version of the Flash's Rogues Gallery, but what in a universe he's basically riffing off of Robin's death. What is it?
Yeah.
What's that storyline? Death in the Family. But it was like, what if Batman just went nuts and like just started hunting down every supervillain?
What if Batman was Nemesis?
What if Batman was Nemesis? But it's focused on this group of villains and them trying to survive that night of violence.
Okay.
But then it's also got stories about each character, and you don't have to like know. If you just know that he's kind of riffing off the Rogues, that's the key part, because he doesn't give you origins to the characters. Their powers unfold with the story, and it works really well.
Yeah, I read the first issue. I want to go back and finish it, but this one came out, and I heard that it was like you didn't really need to get into like all the Minor Threats. It really has very little to do with that, other than being in the world. There may be some things I didn't pick up because I haven't read the other one, or maybe some character crossover or whatever. But yeah, all right, let's kind of wrap up our stuff here with Clay's comics real quick, and then we'll talk about Batman.
Alligator Loki. This is the Scotty Young cover. Absolutely love this book. It's Alyssa Wong, but it's really the art that drives it. She's the storyteller, and the art is fantastic. It's a lot of small stories of Alligator Loki, and it's really fun.
The artist is Bob Quinn, who also did Kill Your Darlings.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and which is wild because like it's just such a pretty book. Like I really love the art in it.
Really good. Also, if you have the Marvel app, you could just read the unlimited version of that. They collected that into a one shot. That's why Clay picked up this week.
Finally got to read Judgment Day after you have praised it, and it's got the same problems every event book has. First of all, the first 6, the story itself, it's beautiful. The art really trumps the story in this. I loved the art in it. I was just such a fan. It had 2 spinoffs that I was able to pick up. The Death of the Mutants, where the art isn't as done as well, but the covers are fantastic. Picked these up at Zeus, and then the Omega book. So again, didn't need these. Picked them up for the storyline. A lot of a lot of good stuff, a lot of fun stuff, but I honestly think sometimes if they have a story like this, do it like they did Dark Ages, put it in another universe, because they basically undo everything near the end, and you're just like, why did I even read that? Like, it's really frustrating, but the core idea is fantastic. I love the
Yeah.
concept because it's Kieran Gillen saying that mutants have evolved to the point where they're like gods, because
Mhm.
now they could be reborn so they could live forever. And so on one level, the Eternals want to I
They
guess,
the Eternals need to get rid of deviations,
and
and
mutants are seen as deviations.
mutants have become so powerful that they have become deviants in their eyes.
But and they bring back Star Fox, and Star Fox is really fun in this book. If you enjoyed Star Fox back in the George Perez Avengers run, I love how the character's written.
I thought you were gonna say if you enjoyed Star Fox as the cameo with Harry Styles at the end of Eternals.
No. But that's the level. You could see that this book kind of is the way that they may handle Star Fox in the story. You also have Thanos' father and Thanos' son. Is that right? Who Droog is?
Yeah,
And in this book, and
and it's his grandfather. Uranus is his grandfather.
yeah, and they're interesting and cool, but I don't know. It bothered me that you get to cliffhangers in this book, and then you have to go buy like X-Men 5 or Captain America this or that. It was so frustrating because there's a point where Cap has Nightcrawler teleport him to one of the Celestials, and then a Celestial just wipes them out, and they're dead.
And then
And you're
Cap's
like, well,
reborn.
yeah, and Cap's reborn, and it's done in another comic. It's not even done in the main series. And I was just like, I was just so frustrated with this book because don't collect the individual issues. If you want to read it, I would probably buy like a collected, full set. But the art is fantastic. And it was funny because after reading this, I was like, there are a lot of caption boxes in this run. And Kieran actually retweeted Mark Waid had this advice he got from Denny O'Neil back in the day of go through your writing toolbox every so often and get rid of half the things you use. So you kind of, recreate or create new tools to write with. And Kieran said, I use a lot of caption boxes. I'm very aware of this. And he does in this story because he has this constant voiceover by one of the Celestials that's just talking nonstop, that you're just kind of like, it just drones on and on, that you don't need. Like he has a great idea where he puts like 5 humans on Earth who are going through the Judgment Day, and what they're doing to kind of cope and deal with and how they're judged. And I love the idea because one of the characters actually runs into Cap, and they have this discussion, this exchange it's really great, and it's an important part of the story. But
Yeah.
by the end of it, you have a death of an Eternal becoming a god, and in the different ways that the worshipped and worshipers are going to interact. Like if you accept me as your god, and how it's going to move forward. That part was very interesting. And again, buy it for the art. The story is kind of secondary for me.
Had you read the Eternals run that Gillian did prior to this?
No.
So I feel like I think I remember talking about this when I did the videos. Like I do feel like that one's kind of required reading because it brings you into the world that he's kind of setting up. This feels like phase 2 of his Eternals plan or whatever. Or maybe the culmination of it.
Yeah, and Valerio
Valerio Schiti.
Yeah, is doing the art in the Hickman book coming out, Gods. So that gets me excited, unless it's going to overflow into 8 other books.
Get your $10 ready.
Yeah, but I absolutely love the art in this book. It is so
It's
fantastic, especially with the Celestials. Because if you don't do the Celestials right, it just doesn't work.
I really like, one of my favorite things was the little, like, this all centered about 6 different people, like regular people. And I think if you don't read the Celestials run, so this, I guess this is a slight spoiler. In the first issue, we find out that in order for the machine to bring a Celestial back to life, a random human has to die,
Yeah,
which is fucking insane. Like when I read that, I was like, because in the movie it's not that way, right? The machine just brings them back.
Yeah.
So this, and then so they introduce you to these 6 people, and you're like, why? Why are we learning about these people? And then yeah, the story with the girl and what's the name of the Icarus?
Yeah.
Oh man, it's that's what I like about the stuff. There's a few quiet, there's more quiet scenes, like Captain America sitting down with this young girl and they're talking about like all the shit that's happened. Like all those little quiet moments are what I enjoyed more about this event.
yeah. What I liked in the Omega issue was them dealing with the loss of one of the humans and how the Eternal visits the family of the person that was lost, and just
Yeah,
coping with that idea of like, you took away, this family member so that you could live, and I hate you, and why would I ever empathize with you?
it's it's nuts. That yeah,
But that
I
kind of
think
ties into the Neil Gaiman Eternal story, where Eternals walked the earth as normal people until they were told that they were Eternals and then became them.
oh oh maybe I should
Yeah,
go read that.
you should. It's very good. It's John
Okay.
Romita Jr. art too. So
Okay.
I think he's tying into that as well. I just can't recommend it unless you
It,
buy the collected edition.
it does have a lot of required reading or required knowledge. Like you also have to know everything about what's going on with the X-Men of like, I mean, they explain it, they exposit it, I think, pretty efficiently,
Yeah.
but it's not the same as if you've been reading, like, especially because Karen Gillan was writing Immortal X-Men at the time. So, like, all that stuff is kind of all running up into. I think, I mentioned you should read everything that at least Gillan wrote for that event, even if you don't want to buy all the side stories or whatever. You need to at least read all the stuff that Gillan's writing because it's all meshes very well and it's all important, I feel.
Okay. The last thing is I read 8 Billion Genies, but we had read this last year, but we did it for Comic Book Club and talked about it on Thursday. It just probably one of my favorite books of the year. It's by Charles Soule. I forget who did the art in that, but
Ram Brown.
yeah, they have little genies that show up. There are 8 billion. Once the Earth reaches 8 billion people, a genie shows up for every person.
Mm-hmm.
Those genies offer them one wish, and they give you a bit of the rules because at one point, like, they show a story where the president of the United States has his military commander wish that the U.S. be the all-powerful country, but then they come to realize that when you make wishes on a global scale like that, it's very hard for the genies, and it's also what every other country wished, so they all nullify and lose their wishes. But the key story follows a bar where these genies show up and they say, you have one wish, and they explain, some of it, if your intent is good or bad. So it's not like a monkey's paw you're making a wish on. And it's really great because by the time you get to the 8th issue, you've gone through an entire generation. Because there's a pregnant woman that's in the first issue who gives birth to a child that's in the final issue. And the wishes, you get the first round of wishes done in 8 seconds, the second round done in 8 days, 8 months. It just kind of goes out. And the only thing that bummed me out about it was Josh told me that Amazon acquired the rights to make a TV series out of this. So they're going to screw it up. Read the book. It's fantastic. And we actually all had everyone pick, like, what would your wish be? Because they're, and Josh goes, I'd be one of the guys who would never make a wish in the book because there are people who just are so worried about the consequences of what they wish for that maybe they wish for something that screws up their life. But in a world where everyone has a wish, like the smartest person in the bar is the bartender who makes a wish and says, anyone inside this bar will not be affected by wishes made outside of the bar. And that directly affects the story of the three bandmates who are in the bar. And that's pretty way to kind of show and not tell exactly what's happening. I do love there's the idea that some people wish to have like dinner with oh God, who's the lead singer of the Doors? Jim Morrison. So you see Jim Morrison, Dorothy Parker, and Ernest Hemingway show up in the bar because other people had wished, I just want to have a dinner with these people. And so because most of them are known alcoholics, they end up just traveling to the local bar to drink. The band performs with Jim Morrison on stage. So it's kind of neat to see like who would be the celebrity you'd want to have like a dinner with. You know, if you could wish something like that, because that's what they use their one wish for.
I will say 8 Billion Genies #1 is our most viewed comic review ever on the channel. 1.7K views. So like, I mean, people, I don't know if people liked it, they were looking for it. But we appreciate you guys watching. But yeah, we have reviews for every issue on the channel. We also have a preview of the compendium that came out, collecting everything, and a little, you get to see a little bit of extra behind the scenes. But I love this. I mean, when it comes to the adaptation, whether it's good or bad, at least Charles Soule and Ron Bryant are getting paid.
Yeah,
so good for them, because they are both great creators. And if you have their curse words comic, the compendium, or the collected edition that has everything, and you go all the way to the back, you'll see a picture of me with them when they came to Pegasus.
Nice.
Or, whose store's not around anymore. But yeah, that was cool.
How do you not have that picture ready?
I didn't. I mean, until I saw the notes this morning, I didn't know you were talking about this. So
okay, but I would say I would recommend you could buy this hardback. Like I will recommend this fully, like full investment. Don't go issue by issue. Buy the hardback or trade. I loved it.
Yeah, I have it somewhere. It's in my room somewhere. But yeah, great stuff. Cool. All right. Let's get into our main topic. As Lago in the chat said, Happy Batman Day. That's right. I don't know why DC just picks a random Saturday in September to do this.
Yeah.
Because this is not this is nowhere near to the publication of the first issue or even Detective Comics. That was in March. But yeah, we're gonna get into it. We'll be talking about some stuff, but I want to show you guys some highlights of Batman real quick, video form, and this will just be some real quick clips. I don't have anything big prepared. For the movie that Kyle refuses to watch.
Well, I can't now. I don't have access to HBO Max.
Great transition.
I love that. I love that so much. So yeah, let's get into it. So Clay, you have a list of things that we want to touch on, and then we'll add things as we kind of go.
Yeah. So I read Grant Morrison's Batman Incorporated run, which seems to be him doing a tribute to all the versions of Batman, because it's done in a pulp style. It's done in a radio serial style. The movie serials, even there's like a dance sequence where Batman dances the tango, and it reminded me of Batman 66, like, where Bruce Wayne does. And it's like, who would put that in a Batman comic? Grant Morrison would. So I just love that. The dialogue is very pulp heavy. It's just not an updated version like you would expect. It's very far removed from Batman Arkham Asylum, which is another book by Grant Morrison that I really recommend, where he really gets the idea of what the rogues gallery of Batman is. So if you love the villains, this book, if you love kind of the history of Batman and want to see it done in a different way, Batman Incorporated, I really recommend. Like I told Josh, because I know he kind of loves the pulp figures of the 20s and 30s, and that's what Grant Morrison is doing, and he's having fun with it. He's introducing new characters as Batman goes around the world to incorporate the name and have people take the title in their country and him support them in any way he can. And so the first two books take place in Japan. The next two take place in Spain. And the art is really great. I just absolutely loved it. I was bummed I'd put it off for so long because I love Grant Morrison's Arkham Asylum. But again, Dave McKeon's art in this is so different from that it's just a head trip. So I hope most people have read Arkham Asylum, but I always try to put it out there as a strong recommendation.
It's a tough comic to read if you're just getting into comics. I'll say that much.
It's a different level of Batman that you need.
Well,
you need to have some
even
knowledge.
The presentation of it is not very traditional. There's not a lot of like panels, like actually like solid panels. It's a lot of very painterly, weird, esoteric. Where as you would expect from a Grant Morrison book. And I just want to say earlier I showed a picture that was the wrong Batman Incorporated. That was Volume 2 that came in the New 52. What Clay read was this one.
Yes.
This is the Absolute Edition. This is prior to the New 52, where Batman is going around. Sorry. So there's now 3 Batman Incorporated. It's because the one I showed this week
is Ed Brisson.
Yeah, the Ed Brisson. So, but then we have pre New 52 is a Batman Incorporated, and then they relaunched the series with New 52, and that was more of Batman and Damian fighting Leviathan. So it's a very different.
I linked to the wrong thing.
No, yeah, sorry, it's okay. I saw that and I was like, this doesn't look right. This is New 52, but yeah, it's not your fault that comic companies keep fucking calling everything the same over and over, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Which we are prepared. We're definitely doing our Amazing Spider-Man #1 showdown in the future, where we all just pick a different one from a different volume and era.
Yeah,
and we all bring it to talk about it, figure out which one's the best one. So, yeah, I'm a big fan of that. I'm a big fan of Morrison's run, like overall. It's so much good stuff. So many great artists. Like Chris Burnham is amazing.
Yeah.
I think Tony Daniels, that was kind of when Daniels blew up. He has that version of the Joker with the gloves and the no shirt, but he's wearing the what's it called?
Suspenders.
Yeah.
The next one I highly recommend is the Batman Black Label book, One Dark Night by Jock. That's the trailer I linked to in there if you wanted to pull that one up, because I just love Jock's artwork, and he does cityscapes of Gotham in this. And the story is Batman having to escort a prisoner through Gotham and what can go wrong. And it's just beautiful. Every part of Gotham looks fantastic. It's Jock telling the story. I believe it's probably one of the best takes on Batman by Jock.
It's during a blackout, so like that really helps with Jock doing some of this. Like, oh, there's no sound on this, by the way. I thought it was I just wanted to show you the images, but yeah, it's very cool. It's only 3 issues. I think if you watch something like 16 Blocks or something like that, where you have to get from one place to the other, that's
Warriors.
what the story is. Yeah, that's what the story is. But with Batman, so highly recommend it. I think when we do our DC Black Label tier list, this is going to be pretty high up there.
Yeah, it's S tier for me.
Yeah, it's really cool. So good stuff. I really. We also have reviews for this on the channel. Make sure to check those out.
The next one I'm doing, because I know Josh brought it up the other night at Comic Book Club, and he's not here, and he said he would even buy this because he already owns Batman 89. DC just put out a collected version of Batman 89 with Superman 78 in a VHS format or cover with that look. And if you've read Batman 89, it's just the ongoing, yeah, there it is. Story recently redone in I forget, is it Joe Quinones who does the art in that?
Quinones is the artist on Batman, yeah.
Okay. And it looks like the characters from the movie. So it's just a continuation from the films, and the collected edition looks fantastic. If I had extra cash, I'd pick it up.
If you want to see what the version of who is it? Which Wayans brothers is it?
Oh, Sean Wayans.
Sean. Is it Sean Wayans?
No, wait a minute. It's Marlon.
Marlon, yeah. If you want to see what Marlon Wayans would have looked at as Robin, because that was the plan. Marlon Wayans still gets residuals from not being in the movie.
Yeah, that's wild that he gets Batman money.
If you want to see the Billy D. Williams version of Two-Face, because Billy D. Williams was the one that played him in both of those films. I think both, right? Maybe the second one for sure, but
yeah, he's
but
more
yeah.
more in the second one.
So yeah, and also I think Michelle Pfeiffer is in the third one as well. The Catwoman version of Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah,
so it's cool, and they're doing another sequel to it. So
I think it sold really well.
Yeah, the Superman story is also very good. It's like in between movies 1 and 2, Brainiac invades Earth.
So who plays Brainiac?
I don't. Well, they don't cast anyone. It just looks like a Brainiac. But I mean, Robert Venditti is a really good writer, so he knows how to adapt these things.
Yeah. Next, Batman White Knight. I just love the art style of this book, and the story is really cool because it's a reformed Joker trying to help Gotham City and prove that the real threat has been Batman all along. But the art is fantastic. It's, I want to say Sean Phillips, but it's not Sean Phillips. It's
Sean Murphy.
Sean Murphy. And if you could pull up, yeah.
Sorry, I was going to share a preview instead. Hold on.
Oh, okay. It is so slick. Like it's hard to really explain. Like the cover doesn't even do the book justice because it's so cool looking, and he's taken away like all the wild aspects of the Joker and just kind of dressed him up like he would be if he had to do an apology tour. Make him look like an outstanding citizen and help the city.
Yep.
And the look of Harley is great too. Like it's just, he does a lot of the Batmobile, and
Sean Murphy draws the shit out of a Batmobile.
Yeah.
Fucking awesome. Like just look at this.
Yeah, it's good stuff. You can read this whole preview on the Penguin Publishing House website. And it spun out a whole universe. Like they're still publishing books under this universe.
Yeah, it's been that good. Again, like I love it when they do kind of a compact story in one place and you don't have to reset at the end. They don't have to do this with Batman. It all stays in this one place. So they can do whatever, kill whoever they want off, and tell the story the way they want to without having to do any kind of reset.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, Sean Murphy chose to have Jason Todd be the first Robin and Dick Grayson the second one. So he flipped them around. But Jason still becomes Red Hood. Just I guess to him it made more sense that Jason would die and then he'd get another Robin and then Jason could come back as, I don't know.
Because then it puts Joker against a Red Hood.
Yeah. Interesting choices. All right, before we keep going down the list, Kyle, did you have any stories or any moments, anything you want to share about?
Yeah, I was thinking back. There was one back when I was actually reading, like collecting Batman a lot back in the day, like late 90s, early aughts. One of the books I really liked was the where I had it right here, the Brotherhood of Monkey Fist storyline, which basically led Batman, Nightwing. It's so like the different. God, let me send the link so you can at least bring it up in the page. Hang on.
Yeah, thanks. Because I was gonna Google that and I was like, I don't even know where to start.
I don't
Uh,
remember this run, so I'm excited to hear what it's about.
So I think it all started with like Silver Monkey. Apparently there are these different branches of the Monkey Fist Order, and eventually it was one of them trying to. I think it started off with them trying to kill Nightwing, but Connor Hawk. This is back when Oliver was still dead, and Connor was taking up the mantle of Green Arrow, and basically, and so then eventually all the different orders are trying to figure out who's gonna be the best one, and so it brings in the Batman family at the time. So eventually, the ones who are partake are Black Canary. And then you have Connor Hawk teaming up with Batman, Nightwing, and Tim Drake, and eventually it leads off to a battle between Lady Shiva and Connor Hawk. And basically, he almost bests her, but she beats him in the thing, but leaves him, and he goes, and the Batman, all of them stop them, and he goes, "What does this mean?" And Batman goes, "Well, it basically means you almost best her, which means you're the second best fighter in the world." And so, yeah, and Chuck Dixon did a couple of the art stars, which is it ran through all. Again, it was a book that ran through all the Bat books at the time. So we're going through Detective, Batman, Nightwing, Robin, and Green Arrow. It finalizes up in the Green Arrow issue, but it was just one that ran about nine issues. But it was just one I kept looking because I want to see who's going to fight. Martial arts fight, no guns, all swords and weapons, martial arts, and it was just this one fun series that just I think it was right around probably maybe 2002, 2003, maybe. But yeah, it was kind of fun. And then another one I remember reading was, let me see if I can find it. It was
I've never heard of that. This one though, that's interesting.
I don't know.
I
I don't think it's ever been collected in a trade paperback. That's the unfortunate thing. But I just remember that was one story that stuck out with me because it was like, where it's always been Lady Shiva versus Batman, and of course after Nightfall, and then she trains him again, and the reason he can't best her is because he won't kill. He has to give the illusion that he killed and everything to become Batman again.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a fun read. And then the other one that I think was a good one. Let me see this one. Hold on.
There's a story called Brotherhood of the Bat. That's interesting.
I want to say there was another one where it was Tony Harris did a run. It was a JSA book. It was a 1940s.
Yes, I have that.
Yes. But Batman, and it's where basically Superman is basically evil. It takes all the JSA, like different versions of the JSA, to kind of take him down. And Batman's a main prominent character.
Is it Liberty Files?
Another one where Superman was the villain. Where he becomes and ends up killing a couple members of in the final book. But
I think I have that one.
Yeah, but Batman is the main character in the JSA there, and I thought it was Tony Harris's art run. So if you're a fan of Starman, it was a fun read. And then also one of my favorite is 2003's Batman Superman, where Ed McGuinness, that first 6 issues that runs the world's finest book.
Public Enemies, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
That book. Just the first couple issues I love the fact when you have Bruce and Clark, and you have the thought bubbles. They're the box. If you just have Batman thinking about Clark and Clark thinking about Bruce, and it's just God, it was just.
I know they love each other. They just need to tell each other that they care.
Yes. Now kiss.
Yeah.
Yeah. So quick PSA for any Tony Harris fans. He'll be at the Dallas Festival thing on October at the Irving Convention Center. He was announced as a guest, so if you want,
I want to go. I don't want to pay the pricing.
Yeah, if you want, maybe you get the Sunday ticket. That's the cheaper one.
Oh, here's one. I didn't buy anything, but I had to go and talk to a few people. I went to the Daddy Toy Show last Sunday and ran into Mark Walters, and come to find out that Todd Nook is going to be at the Dallas Comic Show come November.
Yeah,
Love that guy.
Yeah. Todd Nook is a cool dude. I love his stuff. He's currently doing Young Justice, right? Or
no, they haven't. The Young Justice hasn't been doing it a little bit.
He did.
Yeah.
There was a Teen Titans thing that he did recently with the sidekicks in the past.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah. So cool. Well, before we get back to Clay's list, I just want to touch on. I think Batman is such a flexible character that I love when they kind of put him in an Elseworld situation, like Gotham by Gaslight. Very cool. Like I love that whole gothic noir. That any of the good Elseworld stories have been adapted into animated films, or most of them. If there's one that you haven't seen adapted, let us know in the chat, because I'm sure DC's working on it.
It's funny you should mention Elseworlds. I remember it was before they did Zero Hour. I think it was the very first under the label of Elseworlds, but it was a Batman one shot where basically the story is what if Kal-El's rocket had landed in Gotham, was raised by the Waynes?
Yeah, Batman speeding bullets.
It might be, yeah, but the cover is just a cover of Batman costume flying, and eventually it just
Mhm.
leads him. It's just different telling. It's like that was, and then eventually it led into the Elseworlds annual, 1992 or 93, and it was a good story.
Oh, it's great. I love that. I love that cover is very iconic because
Oh
they try to combine the here, I'll show you. There it is.
yes,
Screaming Bullet.
yes.
Whoa.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, yeah! I got to find this book. I don't have it, but I got to find it. Oh my god,
So I do have a copy of this. As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, I don't know what this is, but I want it.
lucky.
I want it. These are cool. As you mentioned, I love most of the Superman Batman run. It's so good. Like it started with, I think Jeff Loeb wrote on it for a long, long time,
Yeah.
but then they brought
Herman
other
Guinness,
people.
and then it was who did the second run with Supergirl?
I know
Artist,
the
That's
artist.
Michael Turner art.
It was
Yeah,
Michael
Will
Turner's
Turner.
art.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, a lot of the arcs in that run have been also adapted into animated films,
Oh yeah.
like Public Enemies.
Public Enemy is the best.
Public Enemies is so good.
I just wish it had stayed more. I wish the third arc had stayed more true to the actual book.
Yeah, they had to make
Yeah.
a few changes. I think they made changes because they didn't know it would like. Obviously, the comic goes into the next arc and like all that
Yeah.
stuff follows through. The movie, DC wasn't doing the thing where like all the movies kind of connect to the next one yet, right? So they kind of had to change some stuff.
I mean,
But I even love the idea of them having to gather all the kryptonite in the world to destroy it, to get rid of it. Also, another one of my favorite moments is there's two of like how Batman and Superman figure out each other's identities.
Oh yeah.
In both the in both the animated series when they have the crossover of World's Finest,
Yeah.
which is like Clark very easily just uses X-ray vision, right? He's a cheater. But Batman puts a little tracker on him, and then you zoom out, and then you like through like buildings, and he's so far away, and they just see Batman perched there, like with his binoculars, like a creep, waving at Clark because Clark can see him. But in the animated series, the Batman, that was like a more stylized, almost anime-like.
Yeah, he does more detective work in that one, but he's realized the flight trajectories all over Metropolis and realizes there are two pinpoints where they hit the most, and one is the Daily Planet and one's Clark's apartment.
Yeah, like and then I think also, I don't know if it was one of the comics recently that kind of retold their story. They used that same concept of him like tracking Superman, but he tracks all the sonic booms that have been detected by like these satellites.
Yeah.
And then he puts them all together and kind of figures out that
it's like all flight patterns.
It's like the Daily Planet, Clark's apartment,
yeah.
and like I think like Lois's apartment or something like that.
And it was so fun because that they actually brought Tim Daly back to voice Superman at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love all that. I love Batman solving mysteries. Is the detective aspect of Batman is probably way cooler than him just beating up random thugs.
I do like. There was another one I do like was the John Byrne 6-issue run with when he reinvented Superman after Crisis. Was the meeting of Batman and Superman in that one issue, like number 5, I think, of Man of Steel, or was it might have been 4 or 5? But yeah, when they re-introduced that thing, and you have Batman like, another time, another time, I think we might have been friends. But you realize when they first start off, they're not. They're not exactly fans of each other.
Yeah, Greg Pak did one too, like of Batman Superman, where he did the series in the New 52.
Yeah,
with art by Jay Lee, so like really really cool stuff. So yeah, I like. I think Batman interacting with other people is strange, but it works.
The World's Finest have always been my favorite. Whenever it's Superman, Batman, those have always been some of my most favorite moments with Batman.
I also really like him with Wonder Woman because like she's so strong and like capable, and I don't like. He's both intimidated, but there's also like there's this whole thing of like, well, won't they?
One of the best episodes of Justice League is when she's turned into a pig and he has to sing. Am I blue? Am I blue?
Yeah. Man, Kevin Conroy just.
No. If you're gonna say who is the best Batman period when it comes to actor, it's downright 100% Conroy. Yeah.
And now you can even get rid of the qualifier of like, well, I was saying live action because he was live action in the crossover.
That pissed me off when they did that Big Bang story. And it's like, How can you count what's his name in the Lego movie, but you don't count Kevin Conroy for Batman animated series?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
yeah.
But I mean, it's such a flexible character. I do love seeing all this stuff. I was trying to figure out what the other Elseworld stories, but even just the standalone animated movies, like
Yeah.
the Red Hood one, it's probably one of the best ones. Like,
I'll be straight up honest. Like Batman is not my favorite, but some of my favorite moments deal with around the Bat family. Like I'm a huge Nightwing
Yeah.
fan, so like I can mention a whole bunch of stuff like that. I like stuff with Tim, so it's not like necessarily like we're talking about Batman moments. I don't know if I have the like you guys stories and stuff like Batman, but I can talk in the Batman family genre and bring up moments like
yeah,
that.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, because I mean, there's iconic moments of like where Batman just does random shit like this. The hold on. Did I open it? I was trying to open the. Oh, here we go. Hold on one second. Because Batman is an unhinged individual that needs a lot of help. But sometimes you deserve a good punch in the face.
Oh God,
I
yeah,
I
that's
love
probably one of the best right there. Okay, I forgot about everything about that.
iconic moment of like just like the art, the fact that it's Guy Gardner that he's punching out too, like because Guy's kind of a dick.
Well, no, my favorite's Black Canary goes one punch and I missed it.
Yeah. What happened to him? Is he dead? Beeto's having too much fun with that as well.
Well, there was an issue of the Green Lantern where he basically Hal does the same thing, and Beetle's like, "One punch again? You got to be kidding me!"
Yeah. Batman belted him and I missed it. What a choice of words.
I know.
But John can replay that image. Ah, man, what a lineup too. JLI.
It was the first 6 issues I thought were really good, but after they kind of took Captain Marvel off the lineup and they brought Powers in and everything, not Max Power, it was Max Lord in, and they did all that stuff. I was kind of like, yeah. But that first 6 issue run with the Gray Man and everything, that was a good lineup in my opinion.
I also wanted to figure out how many times has Batman died.
Well, let's count. Anyway, what was Failsafe, Darkseid? So at least 2.
So Google says at least 22 times.
But are we counting actual like actual continuity, or are we talking about overall in comic books in general?
No, like just in comics. This is
Okay.
yeah. It looks like this is. There's a few articles. 11 times Batman has died. 15 times. He's also faked his death, so I don't know if that counts as dying.
Yeah. The only 2 times I know basically is when Darkseid was supposed to kill him, but he was caught in time, and then Failsafe kills him, but he's sent through the multiverse. So it's like, those are the only 2 recent times.
Yeah. Here, let me pull up the article so we can kind of go through it. Because I thought it was funny that such a popular character.
Yeah.
And this was before they were killing everyone too, like some of these stories.
Oh,
so in Batman the Brave and the Bold, we killed Batman. Who is this? The Rorschach and his friend. So man, this Brave and the Bold title.
Okay, yeah, that's an old one. But again, it's probably a one-shot story where he dies, but he does. Yeah, see, again, of course.
Yeah,
I mean, technically, if you want to die, the JSA Batman dies. He died, and that's another time, so he stayed dead.
I guess in the dark. Well, he faked his death here. I don't know that in the Dark Knight Returns, he fakes his death, so Superman will fuck off.
Yeah.
Although Superman does detect I guess not everything has that picture, but here, what else? Ooh, the Obsidian Age. I've heard this is a good story. I don't know if you remember
Which
it
one
or
is
have
that
read it.
I don't remember. I know it's the JSA run that Grant Morrison started, but
it's from JLA 74, which I think it is Morrison's run. Yeah, that sounds like something like they would do. Especially look on the Justice League on the Pikes.
Yeah,
it's pretty sick. What else? Oh, Red Sun.
I didn't read that one.
So that when he's in Moscow or he lands in Russia.
Red Sun. But he doesn't die in that one.
He does.
Batman
dies.
Yeah, I'm thinking Superman. Duh.
Oh, and then this is the Superman Batman run that we were talking about earlier. I didn't know he died in that one too.
What else we got?
Countdown to Final Crisis. I think that's that's the
one with Darkseid. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh wait, this is Countdown?
That's Ultraman.
Superman. Oh, Ultraman is punching him in the face. I mean, He's blowing. This isn't the bullet thing,
Huh.
or this isn't the Omega beams. This is Ultraman killing him. So this is different.
I
Oh,
don't
it's
remember that
Batman
one.
of Earth 51.
Oh, okay, okay.
That's why. Okay, that makes sense. Because like, man, I don't. Yeah, this is the Final Crisis.
That's
one.
yeah, that's the dark side.
Yeah, that's the Dark Side one. Which he looked pretty dead on this one to me.
Oh yeah.
What else we got?
Which one's this? Neil Gaiman.
Whatever happened to the Cape Crusader? Oh, I don't think I read this.
No.
Oh, I think this is just a story of what it would be like if he did pass
Maybe.
away. Okay. Flashpoint,
of course.
yeah, of course.
Yeah, if you're technically talking about fucking Doctor, yeah.
Yeah.
He died in that one?
Does he die in the Court of Owls?
So.
Oh, yeah, he temporarily when the
Mhm.
Talon. Yeah. Oh, Clay's coming back. Hey Clay, we're just looking at all the times Batman has died. According to Google, is at least 22 in the comics.
Overall
Damn.
history. Yeah, not just like
We're kinda
What
going
about
through-
severely injured, like his back being broken to the point he can't be Batman? Is there any other times like that?
No. This is
Just
actual
the
death.
Bane time? Okay.
Death or fake death, like where he faked his own death.
Yeah.
And then I Am Gotham. I don't remember. Oh yeah, Gotham Girl and Gotham
yeah,
kill him. Man, this story was wild. Anyways,
I know.
all right, let's get back on. I guess we've been on topic, but let's get back to celebrating his life. Clay, let's go back to your thing, and then we'll hit the tier list at the end, and then close out with that.
Okay. To love Batman, you got to love the Joker, and Brian Azzarello's Joker is a great crime book.
Save it for Joker Day.
But I feel like this Joker is representative of the Joker that we see in the Batman movie. Like at the end when he's making friends with the Riddler, I feel like this is going to be the adaptation that we see maybe in the next Batman movie, and I'm super excited about that.
There it is.
This is Scott Snyder just knows Batman, and he does a great job in the Court of Owls run because he brings in the mythology of the city and makes it a part of Batman, something he didn't know about, and this conspiracy group that has come together. It's him and Greg Capullo. The design of the Court of Owls, the mask, I love. I think there was back in the day, Scott had done a lot of promotion for this, and he was doing a panel and had everyone in the audience wear the Court of Owls mask, and it just looks so cool. Is there a favorite part of this run that you dig, Danny?
So this was my like first real like collection of Batman stuff. Overall, the run pretty like. The first two arcs, which is the Court of Owls stuff, is pretty sick.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me make you bigger. Yeah,
I just love sketches of the villain.
It's so cool. Like the first 11 issues, which is the Court of Owls, is pretty sick. I think Death of the Family is also pretty good. The next story after that.
Oh yeah, with the Joker's face ripped.
Can we? Well, if we're going to talk that, can we just go back? Death in the Family.
Yeah.
Let's go, Jason Todd.
And speaking of, I think Clay mentioned a crowbar earlier. I was going to make a joke about not on Batman Day. I think the end game where Joker takes over the Justice League, like he kind of like mind controls them.
Yeah,
it's pretty good. I love all the 0 year stuff, like just going back to retell the origin of Batman. Like when there's the flood or whatever, that Gotham is kind of like out on its own again, very similar to the Cataclysm story. So yeah, I don't know, the run's really good. Like Greg Capullo and Scott Snyder and all the people in between, they really really fucking killed it. So it's probably my definitive Batman run. As much as I love Morrison's now that I've gone back to read it and appreciate it, yeah, really fun.
Yeah, I think if I had read this as it came out, I wouldn't have appreciated it as much, but like as condensed and in a volume, you kind of get what he's trying to celebrate in that, and I love it.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm pulling up that link. See if I can find the picture for you, Kyle.
I was
You
going
know,
to say one other thing I didn't put in the show notes that I want to recommend. If anyone wants to see a great documentary about Batman, Batman and Bill came out in 2017, and it is amazing because you get to see the history of Batman, because it's not just about Bob Kane, who was able to kind of squirrel his way into being the only named creator for Batman for a long time, but Bill Finger wrote all this stuff. Bob Kane even appears in Batman 89. You don't get a credited Bill Finger Batman movie until recently, which is
Until Batman
amazing.
versus Superman.
That's
Zack
it.
Snyder
Batman v Superman. Yeah,
Oh.
is the first time Bill Finger's credited, and he was the writer of Batman.
I very internally lost my shit at the theater because you could see like the credits, and then just like with Bill Finger shows up, and I was like,
Mhm.
oh shit. Real quick in the chat, Death of the Family is amazing, especially the Red Hood and the Outlaws Volume 3. I think had an own Death of the Family cover. Yeah, so I have all those covers that are like cutouts of the like it's like
Face.
the Joker face, and then if you open it, it's like the face of like each of the Bat family members. Now, Kyle, you sent me this. Tell us
Yeah,
about
Clay will know where I'm
Yes,
going with that.
I've got that.
No,
Let me grab it
no,
off the
but
shelf.
there's two parts. There's a Liberty
Yeah.
file, and then there's hold on, because I sent you the wiki, didn't I?
Yeah. They just didn't have any pictures, so I pulled this up instead.
Yeah. So the first one is JSA, the Liberty file, and then the second one is the Unholy Three. The Unholy Three is where basically Superman appears at the very end of the Liberty file, but ends up becoming like the villain of the Unholy Three, where they all have to take him on at the very end. But Batman plays a key
cool.
role of being in this formation of the JSA, and Clay's finding his books.
Here, I think I pulled up the image.
And Tony Harris is both writer and artist on this series.
Hold on. Clay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hold. There we go.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Oh, I should probably read this. I should read this so I can
Yeah.
ask him about it.
Yeah, these were $7 a piece, but totally
Nice.
worth it.
Yeah.
Prestige
Oh,
format. I mean, that Joker, man,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Little owl imagery in the back.
Captain Midnight, and just a pulp looking Batman.
Yeah. So
Very cool.
do you have the Unholy Three? Do you have a sequel to that, Clay?
No.
Okay, that's the one. That's where Superman's a villain, or becomes the villain.
Yeah, I did find that. So there's 3 parts.
It's generally 4 books, I think, altogether. But it's
Okay.
yeah, Liberty Files Part 1, Brother Can Spare a Mind, and Part 2, and the Clock Struck Midnight. Then the Unholy Three is Part 3, and then Part 4.
A bit. I wonder if there's a nice collection of all that.
I would love it.
Oh, that's
my
pretty
God.
dope.
Again, it's Tony Harris art, so you can't beat that.
Yeah. His splash pages are fucking amazing, and he's a
Dear
great
God.
storyteller visually.
I also really appreciate when they give Batman little hats.
Oh yeah,
Like
look
when
at
he had
that.
the
That's
little.
amazing. Dr.
Yeah.
Midnight, Batman, Hawkman. Or no, it's an owl. It's an owl for Dr. Midnight.
It's all man.
Oh my god.
Cool.
Now that I pulled
let's-
this out, I'm gonna have to reread it.
Go for it.
Yeah, tell us all about it next week or whenever we are next. All right. Real quick, Clay wanted to touch upon the toys. These
Yeah.
are from the Public Enemies movie, I think.
It's from Ed McGuinness's run. They're just Ed McGuinness designed figures, and I loved his run. His art style to me is just pure comic book. I mean,
Yeah.
it is the muscle bound superhero look, and it's perfect for Batman, Superman. It was perfect for that run because he draws all the heroes and villains, and they're fantastic looking. And they did a series of figures for it. To me, the Batman in this one is probably my favorite of all the toys that they've put out.
Oh, that's interesting because I'm not a big fan of its head.
Really?
I feel like it kind of leads up to a point where I don't know. Like everyone else I like, it feels like it should be more square. Maybe the cow, I don't know. Maybe it's just not a good picture.
What's your favorite toy then?
Oh, man. So for sentimental reasons, my friend Jose gave me his brother's Hot Wheels car.
Yeah.
Like it's like a 1 in 7, like 1 in 75. Like it's like a Batmobile, but it's shrunk down, I think. And it was really nice. He said, like, I want this to go to somebody that'll take care of it. and I was like, oh yeah, I mean, I love that. So that's probably one of them. But I have a lot. I mean, maybe I should do a video, but I'm just looking over on my shelf where I keep all like. There's so many Batman figures that they're like kind of stacked in front of each other, so I can't look at
Yeah.
all of them. I know I have a Greg Capullo series that is really nice. I also have a Jim Lee black and white San Diego exclusive that I was able to find at a GameStop. So yeah, I don't buy a lot of action figures anymore unless it's Batman. Like I'll pick stuff up for Batman. So
Yeah, don't really have much Batman action figure wise. I'll be sure it's
anything for Batman. All right, so oh okay, Clay, you did have a whole tier thing ready.
Yeah.
Okay, well let's put these in order real quick. I feel like we're gonna take too long. We have like 4 or 6 minutes left.
There's
Maybe
just
we
three
should
of us. We'll all know where they go.
You think so?
No,
All right. I don't think so. I
we're
think
going to argue
disagree.
over some of them. I know we will.
So, how about instead we do this? Give me your here. I'll pull up the thing so y'all can see all the movies, and we're just gonna say our favorite and our least favorite, and then we'll probably do a more like a larger tier show later. So here, let me share the screen.
I wonder if you're gonna have
So here's all the movies. I hope you can see them. You can kind of tell. Well, also Kyle hasn't seen this one, so I guess that one doesn't count.
No, I can already see you don't have the one I want on there.
Well, yeah, these are just live action. Well,
No,
kind of.
you can't do live. You got to do all the films. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I
so
know, but we were just going to do
that's
live
what I
action
told
because it's
Clay.
short.
Whenever we do this, we include all the animated stuff and just really go through all of them.
Mask of the Phantasm. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So like we need to include all those for sure. But out of this bunch, which is just all the live action stuff, not including the 66 one as well, for some reason, the Batman 66 movie.
I'm gonna go straight up Tim Burton Batman.
The first one.
Yeah, be my number one.
Okay, interesting.
I think Nolan stuff's good, but just when it comes down to it, I'm always gonna be a fan of that first Batman Burton film because that's what relaunched it really for me. So
I gotta say The Dark Knight. I mean,
that's fine.
It's my favorite movie ever, so I love it. Clay?
The Batman, the most recent one, is just amazing. Everything about it is perfect. It builds a Gotham that you want to just experience and be in. The music sets the tone. Everything is perfect in that movie. And even the ending, where a lot of people may disagree because where Batman agrees to be the light of Gotham, is not a typical approach to the character. But in these days and times, maybe it is. Maybe it's the most necessary thing of all, is the Dark Knight being the light.
Okay. Very cool. Yeah, no, for sure. I definitely agree with that. I love it. I love it too. But I mean, it's also in my top 4 in Letterboxd. So
see, but like if we had I would have put Mask of Phantasm as my number 1 Batman film if that had been on the list.
So it will. So when we do the actual tier, we'll include all the animated stuff.
Okay.
Well, only the ones that are like Batman focused, not.
That's fine.
So like in Clay's list, I would probably remove, as much as I love.
Do we get to add Batman Beyond, Return of the Joker?
Of course. That's a Batman movie.
Okay.
As much as I love this film, I wouldn't call it a Batman film.
That's true. It's not.
So like I would leave both of the, and then you also put the other Justice League on there. Gross. What's wrong with you, Clay? What's wrong with you?
The Whedon Justice League is the best one. Forget Snyder.
Don't make me cut you.
I'm not giving. Yes, the first Justice League is better than the fucking Snyder cut. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna say
that's a lie. That's a lie, and you know it. Now you're just trying to upset me.
I'm being honest. I think it's a better film.
I disagree, but we can talk about it.
Neither.
Well, I guess we can't talk about it because
okay. I'll give Clay. If he's saying that neither is a good film, I'm okay to go there. But if I had to choose one, it's gonna be the first Justice League. Not.
I guess I'll just have to do this. I just have to end this stream solo. I guess.
I would pick the Justice League TV movie over those two.
Oh yeah,
Justice
Dark
League.
Well, no, okay. If we're doing live action, well, no, I hate to think if we're gonna do live action with Justice League, we got to count the TV pilot movie that started back in the early '90s.
Okay, so we're gonna name another good one or the worst one?
No, and then the your least favorite, which I already closed out the fucking thing. I forgot we were doing the worst one. Well, not
Because
worse.
I put Lego Batman as another one of my favorites
Oh,
because it incorporates all your knowledge and all the history of Batman, and so it's not even like a kid can watch it and an adult can watch it and get two different perspectives. And over time, as you
Yeah.
learn more about Batman, it pays off in the
And
Lego Batman
I
movie.
wouldn't say worse. I would just say least favorite of these, and it's probably it's either Robin or Batman and Robin or Forever, one of those two. I think Forever is
I'm
less
willing to.
interesting.
I'm not going to put Forever in there, but I want to see this director's cut that they did before I want to rate. Have a
Yeah.
chance to rate that again.
If
Batman
it's-
and
if
Robin
it-
are probably
yeah.
the worst.
Yeah, Batman and Robin's pretty shit.
Yeah,
I feel
I'll
like
give you that.
I feel like Forever is just less interesting.
Yeah.
No, but if this director's cut is actually
Yeah.
somewhat dealable,
No,
wanna
I
see it.
agree. I agree with that. If they're, well, though, man, I don't know. They're kind of both very weird as far as that, but it's definitely one of those two. Now,
Batman v
Yeah.
Superman's pretty bad, and
that's a lie.
that is maybe the worst.
it is kind of on par with Batman and Robin.
It just it's hard to defend because the Batman part is pretty good. Like Affleck's Batman is
Oh yeah,
I love in the Snyderverse. But in that movie you have so many misses. You miss with Luthor, you miss with Doomsday. You have
no,
But
it's just Daniel. He's like, I'm trying so hard not to say anything.
it's just not it's not good, it's not fun. The Martha moment doesn't pay off. Exactly, Martha's dead.
You know, you're right.
Save Martha.
You're right. Batman and Robin's better than Batman v Superman.
God damn, bat nipples over Snyderverse. Yeah.
I guess you guys don't need me for this part of the show.
I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, even Batman 66 is fun, and there's just not
Oh
a
yeah,
lot of
no, I would never put that at the bottom.
No, it's
yeah, I
not
know,
great,
but a lot of
it-
people don't like the camp version of Batman, and
Well,
you
they're
have
dumb.
to
They're
embrace
wrong.
that because that was my first exposure to Batman. And
It's
as
what
a
got us
kid,
Batman in
it's
live
fun.
action. So you gotta have to count it.
Yeah,
makes
you
you
have to
right.
also take into account that show became the camp era that Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams jumped into Batman and said, "We don't like this. We're going to turn it into a detective novel." And we got like Son of the Demon and some of the great
Yep.
stuff in the comics.
All right. Well, enough of Batman. He's had a day. Let's go into recommendations.
Oh shit! Recommendations.
I do have something. So last week, friend of the channel, Lego in the chat, said that Smeagol was not needed in the Lord of the Rings, and there's now a video. So
No.
my recommendation. Hold on, this is just a recommendation. Whether you agree with it or disagree with it, that's not the point. So I'm going to show you guys a little bit of that. So go check it out. It'll be on the
No.
channel. I'll put the link on.
Yeah, don't copyright strike us, Legoland.
No. Oh, can you guys hear that?
Hello,
Yes.
and welcome to my inability to accept a challenge if I think that challenge might entail me being able to argue that Smeagol is awful and should have been killed off.
Okay.
So a few days ago, my buddies at Next Issue Podcast were talking about something I don't remember, but I brought up that
We don't remember either.
Smollum, who I will henceforth be referring to as Smollum, should have been killed off.
All right. Well, if you want to see the rest of that, go to the channel. Link will be in the
For
description.
one, he was killed off. Two, you need him. Don't get me started on Lord of the Rings. I'll go in this one. And
Hey,
three,
hey, listen. Watch
Yo.
the video first, and then we can make some arguments.
plus three, having Gollum / Smeagol in the Lord of the Rings films gave Andy Serkis kind of what his
That's
stardom.
true.
It launched
For
him.
Andy, it is great for Andy. And Andy Serkis would not like this video. But I think it's really funny because we were talking about it. Then that same evening, they sent me the whatever was on their website, like a written out version of the video. And then the video came out earlier the week. So great.
Do
Thank
not
you
get
very
me
much.
started. I love that franchise. I love the movies
Yeah.
too. Do not get me started.
Go check it out. All right. So wait, what's your recommendation? You have a bunch of things.
I put down, if you want to have the perfect Batman day and you want to have it in every form available, comic books, Batman Incorporated, because it's an homage to all the different versions of Batman. So like I said earlier, if you love the pulp stuff all the way up to Batman 66, the action, it's Grant Morrison writing a love letter to Batman in all versions. Andy Serkis is a god. We wouldn't have Planet of the Apes without him.
Yeah.
Second, the Batman the animated series is like, I mean, we owe so much to that series.
Yeah.
It's
God,
some of the best Batman available. If you can't find a great episode that outdoes the movies in there, you're not watching the cartoon right. To me, it's always going to be the Mr. Freeze episode is the best episode. But the fun part of it is just arguing which one's the best because they're all so good.
I was just rewatching it with the Great Ghost episode. See,
Great
yeah,
Ghost.
I mean,
Yeah.
oh God,
another fantastic one. If you want to spend time in the movie, I suggest the latest Batman the movie. The music, the cinematography, the feel, everything about that is so good and just so dark and timely. Like it's just the most current version of Batman done better than we've seen in 20 years.
Cool.
And finally, the Batman Arkham Asylum game, which I've been replaying on my PC, just fantastic. I mean, you get to be Batman and beat the shit out of a lot of people, and who doesn't want to do that?
Clay's perfect Batman day is like 72 hours long.
yeah.
Yes.
Because the movie's 3 hours. Batman Inc., let's say I think it's like 12 issues. So it would take you at least maybe a couple hours to read that. So we're already 5 hours in. I don't know how much of the series or animated game you're playing into this, but like
I've played like 6 hours and I'm only half or 60% way through. Yeah.
So, cool. All right. Kyle, did you come up with something?
I'm going to go right back and just say for a read, JSA, The Liberty Files.
Nice. Okay. Cool.
Books. I'm just gonna, I think you'll have fun, but it's not just. I mean, you get good Batman, you get some great art, and especially if you're a fan of like the Starman, this will be a nice other story to be reading. So
great. Kyle, let's save Clay, let's save your reaction for next week when Josh is back.
Sure.
I think he'll also appreciate that.
Reaction for what?
Especially since I don't like Joe Pera.
Oh.
All right, that's all the time we have. Hey, you don't like my stove, I don't like your stove.
It's not Joe Pera as Batman though, so you can thank God for that.
Let's see. This is here. Come on. That's me arguing about how good this movie is. I start off real confident and then like,
Then you get to Martha.
I don't fucked up. Martha is my favorite movie.
Why'd you say Martha? Why'd you say Martha?
Why does nobody talk about that their mom's name is the same? Tell me that. That's the real conspiracy. All right. Well, I hope you've had an excellent show. Thanks for watching, everyone. Austin, like on the chat, thank you very much. Leave us a comment with your favorite Batman movie, your least favorite Batman movie, Batman comic recommendations, all that stuff. I don't know if there'll be more Batman videos in the channel today because I don't have anything ready, but we'll see. I might think of something. So, yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Peace.
The most important thing in life will always be the people in this room. Right here. Right now. Salute, mi familia. Salute.
Thanks, everyone, for watching. Loves you. Oh, yeah. Clay?
Hail Bebo.
Josh?
Simon Center, get the fuck out.